I could be wrong, but this might be one of the first times I've ever talked about New Hampshire, and this happened in Manchester, New Hampshire. So we're going to talk about this story and give you some details about this baby that you guys see right here on my screen. And I'm getting this information from people.com, so thank you for the article. But before we dive into the story, gotta give you a disclaimer so you hopefully will understand what type of content we're talking about. Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, news web articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer. So this story, again, coming from people.com. Thank you for the article. This baby that you see on my screen has passed away after suffering extensive injuries at home, which authorities are calling suspicious. His name was Javion Riley, 7 years old, and was found unconscious and not breathing at a Manchester, New Hampshire apartment on January the 17th, multiple outlets reported. And I got to tell you guys, I don't remember ever talking about New Hampshire, or whatever it is, ever. Isn't this like the first story I've ever done on New Hampshire? I could be wrong, but I think it is. He had allegedly suffered severe burns on more than 15 to 20% of his body and was transported to a local hospital in Boston. Now, he succumbed to his injuries on Tuesday. An autopsy is pending, according to a statement from the local attorney general and the Manchester Police Department. Last week, the child's father, Murtada Mohammed, let me see if I can get his face up on the screen. This fool. And I think he is the epitome of a fool. Murtada Mohammed, as you guys can see, name on the screen, was charged with first-degree assault, second-degree assault, falsifying physical evidence, and endangering the welfare of a child. It is absolutely gruesome, it is horrific, and it is sickening to look at. It makes me physically ill looking at my own son because of what this man did to him, Javion's mother, Raina Riley, told the news before her child died. It looks as if it's from boiling water or oil, or maybe even set on fire. This man was trying to kill my child, she alleged, and told this to NBC 10. The boy's mom also said she tried to get help for him months ago, but nothing was done. After Muhammad, who's 25 years of age, got split custody of Javion, which that he had to prove that in court, that he was a suitable parent, so he got split custody, she began noticing signs of abuse, she alleged to the news. I called for wellness checks on him when he was with him for the bruising, and nobody did anything. The system had failed not only my child, but so many children, and something needs to be done because this isn't okay. It's not like it's not like when is enough. Court documents reviewed by NBC 10 and the New Hampshire Union leader said that Muhammad told authorities that he put a pot of water on the stove to make food, then got in the shower. That doesn't make any sense. He put a pot of water on the stove to make food and then got in the shower. Thus, he claimed he hadn't seen what happened to his son on the day of the incident. So I'm going to assume that he probably also told them that he turned the pot of water to turn the eye on. I'm assuming. But even then, just the idea of putting a pot of water on the stove and then going to go shower, that just doesn't even make any sense. But police noted many inconsistencies in his story, and Muhammad later allegedly told police that he used the hot water and cleaned and electrical cords to discipline his son for lying, the court documents repeatedly state. Let me read that again. Police noted many inconsistencies in his story, and Muhammad later allegedly told police that he'd use hot water and electrical cords to discipline his son for lying. How do you use hot water to discipline your child for lying? How do you do that? How? Do you pour it on him? Do you make him drink it? Do you make him bathe in it? Do you just toss it on him? You throw it on him? How is that discipline, and how does that teach a person not to lie? Being physical with them, which is why I also told people, and I continue to stress this point, that I don't believe in spanking or being physical with children. All it does is teach them to fear you. You don't make children learn respect or get them to do what it is that you want them to do outside of the fact that you're physically forcing them to do it. They don't learn anything by that except for fear. So please, if you're still spanking your children, stop spanking your children. Hope I make my point very clear. A neighbor of the family told the news, I don't know why they put their whole name out there, that Javion had been a very good boy and kind, as well as very quiet and respectful. She continued by saying, I can't believe that was going on to him. In a statement, Attorney General John Formella and the Manchester Police Chief Alan Aldenberg said an investigation is ongoing into Javion's death. The circumstances surrounding the child's death are actively being investigated while the cause and manner of death is under investigation, their statement continued. Mohammed has been appointed a public defender, and it's unclear if he submitted a plea in the charges against him. I'm going to say something that's going to get me in trouble, so I'm going to give you guys the fair usage. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. If you guys are looking at this video right now, especially in the memory of Javion, please, if you guys would hit that thumbs up and share in the memory of this baby, because we want to push this to the top of the algorithm as much as we possibly can. Hit that thumbs up and share in the memory of this baby, because I think his story needs to be told. I think that his life mattered, and I hope it matters to you too, okay? Here we go.
It's still being actively investigated. We're awaiting the autopsy results and the cause and manner of Javion's death.
Prosecutors tell us it could be months before we have those answers in the death of 7-year-old Javion Riley. On January 17th, the little boy was found unconscious and not breathing at his Manchester apartment.
He was initially treated in Manchester, but because of the extent of injuries that he suffered and sustained, he was taken to a hospital in Massachusetts.
Those injuries, according to court records, included dozens of loop marks and burns across 20% of his body.
He died at that hospital in Massachusetts yesterday. Because his death occurred in Massachusetts, the Massachusetts Medical Examiner's Office would be the agency that conducts the autopsy.
The results of that could take months due to the testing and analysis required. In the meantime, the boy's father, Murtada Mohammed, has already been arrested and charged on several counts related to the boy's injuries, including assault and falsifying evidence. The governor saying in a statement, Javion was taken from this world far too soon. His tragic death will be thoroughly investigated, and I am confident that justice will be served.
We're involved in a criminal investigation. DCYF is involved in a very different type of investigation.
Earlier this week, the governor's office said it had been in contact with DCYF about this case. In a statement to News 9, that agency would not speak specifically about this case, but says there is a formal review process anytime a critical incident like this occurs.
And Manchester's school superintendent sent a letter to parents today saying that they share the community's outrage over this senseless violence, and also say starting tomorrow they're adding extra counselors and the state's disaster behavioral health response team to provide even more additional support.
Let's keep going. Here we go. Next video.
That's sadly right, Marissa.
The 7-year-old died 1 week after sustaining those injuries, prosecutors say, at the hands of his father. That initial call came in January 17th. That is when first responders reported to that report of a child injured. Those injuries so severe he was rushed to that Boston hospital. The boy's father, Murtada Mohammed, has been arrested and charged for alleged abuse, which prosecutors say involved being beaten and burned. With his passing, this now becomes that suspicious death investigation, which prosecutors tonight tell us is ongoing.
He was initially treated in Manchester, but because of the extent of injuries that he suffered and sustained, he was taken to a hospital in Massachusetts. He died at that hospital in Massachusetts yesterday. Because his death occurred in Massachusetts, the Massachusetts Medical Examiner's Office would be the agency that conducts the autopsy.
And now prosecutors tell us that autopsy and the results from it could take several months because of the tests that are needed. We're also hearing from the governor's office tonight. He released a statement about Javion's death saying this, quote, "Javion was taken from this world far too soon. His tragic death will be thoroughly investigated, and the governor saying, I am confident that justice will be served." Live in Concord tonight, Steve Botari, WMUR.
Right now, a 7-year-old boy from Manchester is in a coma at a Boston hospital after police say he was severely burned. And tonight, the boy's mother tells us the man charged in this case is his father.
He's getting the best care in the world that he could possibly get right now.
Raina Riley says she's doing all she can to remain strong for her son. She shared this photo of 7-year-old Javion in Boston's Mass General Hospital after police say he was seriously burned on his face and body.
He has a skull fracture, a brain injury, blunt force trauma to the head, rib fractures. He died 2 times and had to be resuscitated with CPR and medication to be brought back to life.
Manchester police say the boy was not conscious or breathing when they found him at a home on Eastern Avenue Tuesday morning. Officers arrested 25-year-old Murtada Mohammed. Police are only saying Mohammed is known to the child. Riley tells News 9 he's Javion's father. She says her son is a light in everyone's life.
He's loving, he's kind, he's compassionate, he's happy, he's well-behaved, well-mannered, so bright. He started reading chapter books when he was like 3 or 4. He is so brilliant, and so beautiful.
Now he's fighting for his.
Is so heavily sedated and in a coma due to all of this, which I'm thankful that he doesn't have to be awake for it because the pain would be too much to bear for anyone, never mind a 7-year-old boy.
Police have charged Mohammed with multiple felonies, including assault and endangering the welfare of his child. Javion's mother tells us he does have a Division of Children, Youth and Families caseworker. Tonight, DCYF would not confirm that, citing state and federal confidentiality laws.
I don't even know what to say about this because they went to the courts. The courts decided that they needed to split custody. And to the mom, I'm just so sorry to her because she probably expressed her concerns like, hey, man, this man ain't wrapped too tight. And she legally didn't have a choice but to let her son be around his dad. And this is the end result. So could it have been caught earlier? Maybe. But it sounds like the mom was pretty on that to express her concerns about what was going on with her son. And it just sounds like that she just ended up on the wrong end of this. So keep the mom in your thoughts and prayers. And to Javion, R.I.P. young Prince. And to this man, he just sounds like he was just not wrapped very tight, a terrible father. And he was definitely a very selfish person. So I think a life sentence in prison will be the only thing that's even suitable. There is no punishment that can bring this child back. There is no punishment that will fit what he did to his son. But thank you guys so much for listening to the story. But leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. Or if I missed something, please let me know. Thank you.